Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Uh, yes. Okay, good afternoon. We are just about to start. We're waiting on the second year rep to just come back on, and we will start officially. Welcome to everybody who has logged on, students as well as staff. We hope to have a wonderful and informative session today. Um, So thanks for coming, everyone. Can I ask you, please, to just type your proper names? Just write your full names in the chat, um, so that we can identify who you are. Right. So there are both students and staff here. Please just right-click and change your name so that the union reps will be able to identify you and be able to refer to you. All right. Welcome to all the persons from joining from Montego Bay. We are okay. Welcome again to everyone. We are recording and we are Zoom. We are actually streaming live on YouTube. So welcome to all the persons who are watching us all over on YouTube. Welcome to those who are joining from the Montego Bay campus of UTech. Welcome. Welcome to those who are joining us from Knox Community College, Community, Money Community College and Montego Bay Community College. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And welcome again to all the students from the Papin campus here in Kingston and to the student union reps and all the lecturers, um, the subject leaders, program directors, and who have taken time out. All right. So give the student union a second. They are the ones who will be chairing the meeting, and they should be starting in just a minute. All right. I see persons logging on still. Okay.
Sorry, Mr. White, just wanted to clarify one of the instructions. You made a slight error, and I see people have been following the instruction accordingly. You asked them to put their correct name in the chat. The instruction should be that you want to rename themselves if they don't have their correct display name in the participant window by right-clicking on their name and changing their display name to their correct name.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Okay. All right, everyone. So please just follow those instructions. All right. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Oh, I see what you mean. They're putting the names in the chat. Right. No, it's not in the chat. It's in the, just right click on your name, right, and change it to your proper name. All right. Just right click on your name in the participant list and change it to your proper name. So we'll be able to see who you are. Alrighty. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Is everyone able to hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you, Miss Grandison.
Yes, I'm
All
here.
right. Thank you so much. All right. I would like to begin our second year or annual second year specialization forum at 3:08 on this date, April 29th. We have everyone here with us. So at this time, I would like to invite our spiritual director, Mr. Jamil Bailey, to pray. Over to you, Jamil.
Thank you very much, Miss Glandison. So let's just pray. Bow your heads or close your eyes wherever you are. So Heavenly Father, just want to give you thanks for another day. Just want to really give you thanks for another opportunity like this as we are having this annual event. Usually it's face to face, but as times has changed due to a pandemic, we have this thing virtually. So I give you thanks for allowing us to have this. I give you thanks for everything that you have been put into plan for this to be successful. So Father God, I pray that whatever thing that is about to be discussed, Father God, I pray that it will be relayed properly to the students. Father God, I pray that each student that is coming on online, that they will understand clear. So I pray for clarity. I pray for anything that they need to understand, that they would indeed ask, and then they will get a response that they so desire and they so need. Father God, I pray that you hasten the fingertips of those who need this, Father God, so that they can able to come and hear, so they can build up what they need. As you know that this forum is indeed planned for them to know what they're specializing in. So Father God, I pray that they will open their minds. They will after leaving this platform, they will know that indeed this is where I want to venture. They will know where they want to go, and they will lead to the path that you desire for them to go. So Father God, I pray that you lead, you govern, you direct, and you just have your way. Take full control of this platform and this session as we give you thanks. In your name I pray to thee. Amen.
Thank you, Jamil. Wonderful prayer. And I do trust that we will have an eventful and informative forum. Opening remarks and apologies for absences. So as we begin, I would like to welcome everyone that is with us via our Zoom platform and streaming live on YouTube. I would like to especially welcome our head of school and our speakers for today, as well as extend a warm welcome to our students from the Papine campus, Western campus, as well as our franchises, Knox College, and so on. Apologies for absences. I would like to apologize on behalf of Mr. Stephen Scale, the subject leader for Information Systems Minor, who will be represented by Mr. Derek Logan today. So we'll be moving on to the adoption of the agenda, which will basically be looking at the different degree programs, the bachelor's in computing with the computer science major, information technology major. We'll be looking at the Bachelor of Science in Animation Production and Development, Bachelor of Science in Computer Networking Security, as well as Bachelor of Science in Computer Information Systems. And I do believe that should be the flow of our day and our event. Is everyone okay with that?
Yes, I am. Miss Grandison, just checking.
Yes, sir.
At what point you will allow the students to ask questions? Will they wait until the very end, or will they be able to ask each question?
Due to, due to the nature of our platform, the question and answer session is live and we are monitoring the chat as we speak.
Okay, okay, I get you. So they can ask, so students can pose questions
Right.
in the chat and also on YouTube. Well, in the chat, both in YouTube
In the chat as well as, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. So we begin with our Bachelor of Science, sorry, in computing. our computer science major and our program director, Mr. David White. Over to you, sir.
All right, thank you, Miss Grandison. Thank you, colleagues, for coming. The Miss Grandison said the head of school. She welcomed the head of school, but I'm not seeing him in the list right now. I want to recognize my colleague lecturers who are here. There's Mr. David Wright. Ms. Grandison will introduce them later on. Just want to recognize David Wright, Derek Logan, um, Carlene Black, Kevin Johnson, and Loshane Jones. All right, we're all lecturers in the School of Computing, and you'll hear about them later on. Welcome again, everyone. As I said earlier, we are streaming live on Zoom and also all over Jamaica on YouTube at this time. Ms. Grandison posted the chat in all the student fora, and I want to welcome especially our franchises. We have students logging in from Monig Community College in St. Ann. We have students from Knox Community College, and we also have students from the Montego Bay Community College. I believe this is the first we are having a joint session like this. So welcome, 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 guys. I also want to recognize our students from the Montego Bay campus. Welcome again. And of course, there are students here from the Papine campus, right here at the main campus in Kingston. Nice to have you all. And as I speak, I notice the numbers are going up. And there are also many, many more persons watching us on YouTube as we speak. All right. Okay. All right. Miss Lynn should be joining us shortly. All right. She just called me. So the Bachelor of Science in Computing, which is the degree program that I'm in charge of, and we will be speaking about the other degree programs as well. Other program directors are here or should be joining us shortly. The Bachelor of Science in Computing is our flagship degree program. It has been in existence for just over a decade. And before UTech got institutional accreditation, which we have now, the Bachelor of Science in Computing got program accreditation. So anywhere in the world you go with this degree, it is recognized, right? And you can matriculate into master's and PhD programs, as well as you should know already, right, that it is heavily recognized here, not just in Jamaica, but in the Caribbean region, right? Many persons are clamoring for our graduates. Now, the degree is organized in a nutshell in 4 years. The first 2 years are common for all students in the BSc in computing, right? Notice I didn't say SCIT, just in this degree program. The first 2 years are common, and if Ms. Grandison will allow me, you'd notice, right, that the, okay, Ms. Grandison, I'm just going to share my screen for a while, right? The first 2 years are common, and the module selection guide is laid out per semester. So we have two majors, right? Computer science and information technology, right? Give me a second. All right, so I'm sharing my screen, right? So we have two majors. You should be seeing my screen now, right? Computer science and information technology, and the module selection guides are all online, www.utech.edu.jm, right? And you'll see the module selection guides there. Now, the first 2 years, as I said, are common, and the first 2 semesters, summer is really seen as optional, right? So all the semesters in year 1 and year 2 are common across the the majors, right? So all students have to do programming one, IT, and so on and so on. All right. Semester one, semester two, and second year would be what is seen as semester three and semester four here. Now, when you go into your third year, which I assume everybody in this forum or students are at that state, right? When you move from year two, right? And you have completed all the modules from year two and you're about to go into year three, you have the option now of picking a major. So you can either pick computer science, right, or information technology. And Miss Borel Batik will speak to computer science in a while. For information, computer science has no minors, it's just one straight major. Information technology actually has a number of minors. So there is networking, um, there is enterprise systems, there is uh, information systems, and there is multimedia. We are um, downplaying the multimedia because we have been having less and less students sign up for that one, while we have a more attractive degree, a complete degree in animation production and development. And the PD, Miss Carlene Black, is here. She will speak about that later, right? We also have a networking degree and a computer information systems degree. And so the respective program the subject leaders are here and they will speak to you um, shortly about the details. So as students, right, you should be in the frame of mind. We're going to give you information so you can make an informed decision about which major you should choose. Should you choose computer science or should you choose information technology? And if you do, right, say you choose information technology, which one of the minors or specialization should you choose, right? Um, we're going to give you that information. If you see my screen right now, here it is. I'm bringing it up, right? So this brochure is also online, right, at the website I gave earlier. So the goals of the course are essentially to produce graduates that are well equipped with the skills to understand and implement computers um, and efficient computational processes. And our students have been um, showing that they are so capable and able. In fact, we have been getting kudos from not just Jamaica alone, but the Caribbean region and internationally for producing work-ready graduates. We have graduates working at Amazon, we have graduates working at Google internationally, Lawrence Livermore, supercomputer laboratory, BMW, right? Self-driving car um, section. And we also in the region, as you know, our students went and won the Caribbean Girls Hackathon. We have come, we have placed in the top three in the robotics competition internationally. We won the WOJ competition a few months ago. We locally, we won the NCB pitch. We won the Sagicor. We got first, second, and third prize in the Sagicor Innovation Challenge. Um, our students got scholarships to go to China and the Huawei Seeds of the Future. I mean, it has just been awesome, right? So the program has been delivering, right? So essentially, the graduates we produce, right, from the computer science major should be equipped with the skills to understand, implement, and effect efficient computational system. And for the IT major, it's designed to produce graduates who possess the right combination of theoretical and practical skills. And Ms. Burrell will speak to computer science in more detail. For the IT major, right, we have, as I mentioned earlier, networking, as a minor specialization. And we have been, I mean, the local telecoms companies have been scraping. We can't produce enough graduates for them, right? For information systems, we really have been producing persons. More and more graduates are telling me that they are moving up the ranks now to supervisors and managers in their respective companies. We have enterprise systems, which has been doing very good as well. And I mentioned multimedia. Even though we have downplayed multimedia over the last few years in favor of the animation degree. The subject leaders are also going to tell you what traits you need, what is involved, what kind of jobs would more you'll be qualified for, right? If you choose the respective minors. So thanks again for joining our forum. And I turn back over to our chairperson, the second year student rep, Ms. Grandison. And feel free to ask any questions. We are here to support you and to allow you to make the best decision because this is your future, right? And we want you to make the best of it. Thanks again for coming out. Thanks for hearing us. And we're looking forward to a great session with you. All right. And Ms. Grandison?
Hi, sir.
Okay, to you.
So we're waiting on Mrs. Burrell Batik to present.
Right. Not seeing Ms. Batik in the chat. You can move to the next person.
All right. That Mrs. Burrell Batik is not with us at this time. We will move into the information technology major, starting with the information systems minor, which will be presented by Mr. Derek Logan. So Mr. Logan, over to you.
All right, thank you. Welcome to our forum. Can you allow me to share? Yeah. Well, could one of the hosts allow me to share? Or can I share? Okay.
Mr. Logan, could you?
All right. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, Mr. Logan.
Okay. All right. So I'm sitting in for Mr. Stephen Scale, who is the subject leader for information systems. I'm going to just do a short PowerPoint presentation on the particular specialization. In this short presentation, we're going to look at technology trends, job opportunities, what are the objectives that we have for the AI specialization, just a short overview of what's involved, and just a pitch to say why you should choose the AI specialization for when you come to make that decision. All right, so when we look at the technology trends, and these are just some of the hot topics that we have in the world today. Internet of behaviors that talks about, like when you go on Amazon and their behavior on the internet allows Amazon, for example, just as an example, to market to you better. AI engineering, artificial intelligence, engineering, app automation, cybersecurity measures. These are just some of the really hot topics in terms of the trends that we're seeing in the work in computing, in the application of technology, more accurately. Distributed cloud, where you're not looking at only one provider, but integrating the public, private, your own infrastructure in seamlessly. So these are some of the trends that we're seeing in the application of technology, and these are some of the things we're going to want to prepare students to embrace once they have completed their specialization. All right, digital, and all of the courses look at a digital world. And just to quote, digital is about creating brand new business models by placing the customer at the center of attention, creating processes that offer incredible customer experience enabled by technology. And notice the words that we have highlighted, the whole business of being customer centric, of looking at the customer as the thing that drives what you're doing. Processes very important in some of the modules that we do. Your understanding of the importance of business processes as an aid to inefficiencies of the systems in making sure that the customer is getting the best possible experience. Business models, again, the internet, for example, is putting together a whole new era of business models that are particularly tailored to that particular paradigm. And that will be explored in some of the modules that you'll be doing in the specialization. You know, how these business model comes about, how you can understand them, and once you have graduated, how you can advise on how best to use these business models. All right, so computer, the ideal graduate, and we're gonna just spend a minute or two looking at this. As a graduate, you really need to understand the strategic imperatives. In other words, when you're graduated, you're looking not only at the nuts and bolts of the bits and bytes and the programming, but trying to understand the whole business of strategy and importance of strategy in driving technology. And we do have some courses that deal quite a bit with looking at strategy and how strategy ties in with the application of technology. Sometimes just going on to customers, sometimes we focus too much on the technology and not emphasizing with the customer. And as explained to you, looking at the customer as a center of all that we're doing. We need to not only be looking at the technology, but at the customer. Reimagine business processes. Again, using the technology to enhance the business processes to make sure that those business processes now accomplish what it is that the business is setting out to do. Embrace agility. Because of the rapid change that we're seeing in the world, in technology, for example, with COVID, you saw a rapid difference in the way we conducted business, and we need to understand how we can embrace that agility and use it to our advantage. Continuous stakeholder collaboration. Again, very important that we understand and be able to deal with our stakeholders and understand who the stakeholders are importantly, and be able to talk intelligently with them and to see to their needs. Evidence-based decision, again, you're trying to make sure that your decisions are based empirically on the data that's available to you. And obviously you need to understand technology and the emergence of technology, the importance that technology plays in as we move forward. So an ideal graduate is going to be looking at all of these 7 things and be comfortable talking about them and implementing them. All right, so let's look at some of the job opportunities. A strategy manager, somebody who understands strategy and can advise on strategy. Program manager, project manager talks about management of projects. So as Scrum Master. Business analysts are very important. You will look at processes and that sort of thing. Trying to bridge between the technical people and the users, because a lot of times technology people don't talk very well to users. So a business analyst understands business, understands technology, and is in a position to actually bridge that gap. Data analysts, enterprise architect, solution architect, data architect, IT auditor are all job opportunities for information systems person who has gone through the specialization. All right, so looking at the IS specialization, we have a number of modules in the specialization. Project management, FIS, Foundation of Information System, Enterprise Architecture and Infrastructure, IS Auditing, IS Innovation, E-Business Strategy, E-Commerce, Organization and Management, IS Strategy, Planning and Management. And we just did a little cross-section to understand how each of these relate to some important points. There were things that we mentioned earlier. Strategic imperatives, the understanding and empathizing with customers, reimagining business processes, embracing agility, and so on. So let us look, for example, at reimagining business processes. So you'd have gotten an introduction in FIS. In enterprise architecture and infrastructure, you'll be looking at the enterprise as something that you, an architect, in actually coming up with how the technology is going to be employed. So business process becomes very important. As innovation and emerging technologies, again, we're using new technologies to see how you can enhance business processes in e-commerce strategy and process, and e-commerce, again, looking at using the internet as a way of enhancing processes. And we don't have the time to actually go through this entire slide, but just to show that we are looking at what the ideal graduate should do and how the ideal graduate is energized by the courses that we do. All right, so finally, why you should choose IS. You love technology and the use of it, but you're not necessarily into programming. Now, obviously, you still need to have a programming background, but your emphasis is not on writing huge, complicated programs. So I'm not, again, saying that you don't need to have programming, but that's not your emphasis. Your emphasis is more in terms of the application of technology, and your love for technology will point you in this direction. You're innovative and love coming up with ideas, especially around technology. Again, the application of technology is what is important, and being innovative in terms of how that technology is applied. You love to interact with people, customers, employers, etc. We spoke about the importance of understanding stakeholders' needs. So again, you're more interested in your interaction with people and customers and employers, with stakeholders generally. You want flexibility in your career. You're not, just looking at very technical areas. You're looking at being flexible in terms of how and your interaction with several parts of the organization. And this is allow you to be a lot more flexible because you're not tied to a particular technical area. And you have an interest in not only technology, but the interaction between business and technology, how you can use technology to enhance the business. And that's basically where we are, basically at the end of the presentation. I think do we take questions now?
Sure. Thus far, I've seen a question, Mr. Logan. Well, actually
Sure.
directed to Mr. White. What
Okay.
would you advise a student to do if he or she is passionate about attaining a computer science major due to its popularity, but is more versed in database design and app development? Mr. White?
Yes, Ms. Grandison?
Oh, a computer science related question, which says, what would you advise a student to do if he or she is passionate about attaining a computer science degree due to its popularity, but is more versed in database design and app development?
Actually, the person could very well pursue Um, and I just talked to Miss Burrell. She should be coming on. So when she comes on, she'll be able to answer as well. But the person could very well pursue computer science, you see, and still get exposure to database. In fact, they could take the courses they will do in, for instance, like advanced programming, right, will allow them to get a good amount of practice with database, as well as the SCIT electives, right? They could take some SCIT electives in database, right? So somebody who wants to do databases could there'll be two options. You could go into enterprise systems, that's the IT major, enterprise systems minor, and you do a lot of databases apart from the courses that are called databases, like advanced databases, database design, and so on. You would also do like enterprise systems 1 and 2, where the systems you work on will have some amount of database programming and web-based programming and so on. If you take the computer science route instead, right, you also will get exposure to databases through your advanced programming, and then you also could take a elective, right? Remember that brochure, remember the module selection guide I put up, right? Yes, you can choose from 3 electives, all right? Sorry, you know, up to 3 SCIT electives, sorry, right, and university electives. So you could, for the SCIT elective, you could choose, you know, your advanced databases. And we have, remember in my opening speech, I mentioned that the proof of the pudding is how well our graduates assimilate into the working world. And the proof is out there. We can't produce enough graduates from these specializations to meet the demand. Just today, I have, in fact, Mr. Johnson is here, right? Mr. Johnson knows he and I were having a chat off here. People are reaching out to us to say, look, send us some students right now, we have a job for them. All right. So I hope you have answered your question.
Sir, I have a question for you. Mr. White, I have a question for you. What would you recommend for a student that is interested in web page designing, but not much of the programming aspect of the whole computer science?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please? Did I hear it correctly that you want to do computer science, but you want some programming practice?
No, sir. What would you recommend for a student that wants to do web page designing, but is not really into the whole programming aspect of like computer science in general?
All right. All the web page, well, all our specializations, you see, right? Oh,
What is that, sir?
sorry about that. I was saying, you see, all our specializations involve some amount of programming. So it's something I've heard before, and the way our degree is designed, you have to be, we are well-rounded. We follow the ACM slash IEEE curricula for computing degrees. And when we were preparing, when we were designing it so that it would meet our international acceptance and also accreditation, we ensure that you have a little of everything in there, including programming. So you can't get away from the programming. However, if you look again, you see on the module selection guide, you will notice that web programming is compulsory, right? It is part of the, let's see if I'm sharing my screen. Oh, you should be seeing my screen again, right? So if you notice here, this is a module selection guide. It says computer science here, but it's the same. It's actually in the second year, first semester, right? Web programming, which is CIT 2011, is compulsory for all students in the BSc in computing, right? So you will be exposed to it once you are in this degree. If a student though would like to take it from the animation route, then Carlene Black is here. Um, if the student would like to transfer to the animation production and development degree instead, then Ms. Black will tell you exactly what would be involved. They are very creative. It involves some programming, but probably not as intense as you would say somebody doing ComSci or enterprise. However, they go into the more aesthetic features and the human, um, the HCI design, and so on. All right, Ms. Black?
All right.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
I would perhaps defer to when it's the presentation so
Okay.
that if there are other questions surrounding, students
Got it.
are able to see.
All right, no problem. All right. So in essence then, all students who are in my degree, the Bachelor of Science in Computing, will be exposed to web page design. Right? No matter which major or minor you do, you will have to do web programming, which is a compulsory. It's a core module in the second year. And as you go up now, if you take the enterprise computing route, for instance, in fact, if I just share with you, um, okay,
Thank you, Mr. White.
yes, I'm sharing my screen. Are you seeing my screen? Right. If you take the enterprise computing route, then when you move to, see again, web programming is compulsory, but when you move up to, this is the specialization for enterprise systems, right? Major is IT, information technology. The minor is enterprise systems. Then when you move in your third and fourth year, you'll be doing two modules, enterprise computing 1 and enterprise computing 2, which involves heavy web development. It involves a lot of database connectivity, client server design. It involves web development and some client server scripting and so on.
Okay, sir. So
I would recommend doing enterprise systems, but be advised that it does involve going this route would involve a lot of programming. All right, and Miss Black.
okay, so I can't really get away from the programming then.
Right. If you are in the Bachelor of Science in Computing, right? Now, Ms.
Okay.
is going to speak later on about her animation production and development degree, where they also do some amount of design, um, including web design, and she will speak to the level of programming and so on, right, that you do.
Thank you, Mr. White. I see that we have Mrs. Burrell Batik with us, and she's the subject leader for the computer science major. So she's ready. Feel free to go ahead and present. Over to you, Mrs. Burrell Batik.
So good afternoon, everyone. Um, Sorry to come in a little bit late, but just to speak to you a short talk about the majoring in computer science. When you think about computer science major, it is really designed for students that who wish to have a more generalistic view of computing and who aspire to later on do further graduate studies, research positions, and some cross disciplinary innovation or something of that sort. So normally, I came in a little bit late, but I heard Mr. White speaking about um, the commissary route doesn't have as much programming as per se, but that doesn't mean that you escape from it completely, even though we're more on the theoretical side and we try to look at more um, those concepts in relation to computing in terms of um, how I should say the history. Hold on a bit. see if I can bring up something. All right, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties in terms of demonstration, so I'll just speak in rather than bringing up that file. So as I was saying here, is that when you're looking at computer science, think about your strengths in your math related courses, because we're concentrating a lot of things there. We still do programming, and we still look at um, things like different career paths if you want to take, such as if you want to design or implement software, we have to look on um, all the various aspects of web development, as I heard Mr. White talking as before, interface and design, any security issues. As I said, we look on a touch of everything and so on. So a career path that you could actually take if you go into this particular path is looking at designing and implementing software, devising new ways to utilize computers, because we concentrate a lot on theory and think how we can actually apply that in our current time. We can also look at developing effective ways of solving computer problems. We're always concentrating on that. So you could take paths as a technical writer. If you want, you can even be, if I said we are quite diverse, we can even go into another field. There's one course here, I was trying to bring up the actual guide. And one of the courses that we take, you will actually take, is something like bioinformatics. And that can take persons into a different route other than computing, to see if you recognize any pattern based on if you're a type of person that you're interested in science and innovation and recognizing any particular streams. We also look at forensics also in our field. So you don't have to just stick with computing for say. We can go inside of any industry. So we're very versatile in that manner in terms of this major. So any questions? As I said, I was going to keep it short. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, Mrs. Burrell,
Oh,
I am checking. I'm
yeah.
checking the chat.
And I noticed that my side, I have some technical issues. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody could hear still.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thus far, no questions in the YouTube chat and not seeing anything in the Zoom chat. So thank you, Mrs. Burrell, for your presentation. Thank you, Mrs. Burrell, again. And now I believe we have Miss Janice Lynch, who is the subject leader for the Enterprise Systems minor under the Information Technology major. Over to you now, Miss Lynch.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. All right, so I'm just gonna share a short presentation that goes through enterprise systems quickly, and then I'll take some questions. Yes, sec. Okay, so enterprise systems, what it really focuses on, right? Or what is it really? It is a combination of various technologies that you would use in the development of your applications, right? It integrates a number of different applications and protocols as well as formats. So by doing enterprise system, you are able to perform across multiple platforms. So you have cross functionality when it comes onto your information systems, which allows for a lot of advantages in the business world. So you find that in industry now, you have a lot of demand for persons who are able to create applications using the whole enterprise system technologies. So, and these applications generally allow for free flow of information, and you have the integration of your business processes as another advantage. All right, why should you do enterprise system? All right, so it will give you the knowledge that you need to develop application that will enhance an organization's business processes, right? So you'll find that in enterprise system, as was mentioned earlier, you do a lot of database development and you do cross-platform application development. So your database development, you will see modules such as advanced databases, right? And you'll see enterprise system 1, enterprise system 2. Those are your cross-platform development application. So if you find that you enjoy development or programming, enterprise system is probably where you want to go. If you like data management, data mining, that sort of thing, this is where you ought to go. In terms of the job market, there's a lot of job prospects out there. Apart from those mentioned on the browser, you have things like IT infrastructure architecture, you have IT application support engineer, enterprise infrastructure architecture, enterprise system engineer, database designer, and the list goes on and on, right? So in this field, the average salary in Jamaica, these are Jamaicans, and this is anywhere between 62K to 250K a month. And of course, depending, and those are entry level salaries. As you go up the scale and become more experienced, the in remuneration, of course, increases and is much better. Right, so I'm ready for any questions that you may have as it relates to enterprise system.
All right, Miss Diamond, Miss Grandison, are you following the chat on YouTube? I have some questions here for Miss Lynch. Good presentation, Miss Lynch. Katie Craze in the chat is asking, what about second-year students who want to do cybersecurity animations, etc.? Would they have to transfer to the other degrees, or could they do like enterprise or computer science and take one of those as elective?
In terms of cybersecurity, all information technology majors do computer security, right? So you would not have to transfer, but in terms of animation, if it's animation you want, there is no longer focus on the multimedia major. Multimedia major would have in the past given students the opportunity to focus on web development and do some amount of animation, but that has been phased out, and if you're interested in animation, then it's animation that you'd have to do.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Good afternoon.
My name is Romano James. I am a I am a student at Montego Bay Community College. I am currently doing the Associates in Modular Computer Studies, but um, I would like to transfer to animation. Um, my question is it possible for to like do a credit transfer of something?
Okay, I think that should be deferred to Miss Black in terms of the modules that you'd have done versus what is required for animation.
Okay.
I'm
Um,
not sure if, in terms of credit transfer, how many credits you'd be able to transfer.
right. Um, I heard you say that the multimedia like aspects like the degree is being phased out, and would would like say someone who just want to do solely animation, like just do computer graphics and design and stuff like that, would they just have to go to the overall bachelor's in animation course?
Mr. White, if I may ask, is it that so all the modules for multimedia, the multimedia concentration, they are no longer on offer?
No, that's not the case. What I said is we were downplaying it, but we over the years, you see, we have had a fairly consistent small growth in terms of the number of students who do computer science, and over in the information technology major, we have growth in enterprise systems and those who do information systems. Multimedia has been fairly small, especially since we introduced the new degree. I know like last time around, we just had a handful of students who did multimedia. When they heard about the animation production and development degree, a lot of them either transferred or just went straight into signing up for that. We have not turned down though our students who have chosen multimedia, though we are downplaying it. We still have students who elect to do it, right? So it is, as of now, it still is a part of our degree.
So Mr. James could choose that as his option.
Right. We are not
Okay.
pushing it, but right, because what you find, for instance, is I remember some of the classes ended up being very, very, very small. Normally, to have a class at UTech, we need 15 persons. Sometimes you end up having like 5. Right?
Oh, you can't offer it with that.
No, offer it, right? But we do have 1 and 2 students still. So most of the students who have that in mind have transferred to the animation degree, but you still have a handful who have that.
Okay.
Right. I think Ms. March was trying to come in as well.
Marsh, I saw Miss Marsh's hand up.
Yes, Ms. March was trying to come in, and
Oh,
I
it
was
seems as
busy
if she got.
answering some of the messages on YouTube. There's a lively, there are quite a number of questions on YouTube. If I can, Ms. Lynch, one was asking if you have to follow the enterprise or other module selection guides to a T. And who was that? Was it Shavar?
Hearing you clearly, Mr. White.
I'm sorry. Somebody was asking you on YouTube, on the chat, if you have to follow the module selection guide to a T. I responded that you have to do your core modules, but you get to choose 3 electives. Oh, it's Jamil. Jamil was the person asking, right? So you get to choose in the final year, you get to choose your upper SCIT electives and your university electives. But all the core modules, Jamil, you have to do.
And that should answer Jamil's question. Any other question? I'm gonna try and see if I can go in YouTube.
Yes, Miss.
Some more questions about independent study and so on. All right, go ahead, Ms. Lynch.
So what if you wanted to become a web developer? What course or program would you have to do so that the multimedia program is being downplayed as said?
of students. So you find that for most
Sorry, Miss
You're
Lynch.
low. The person speaking is low, very low.
It's Miss Lynch. Miss
of
Lynch, you want to just repeat, please? We weren't
I,
here.
okay, hearing me now?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
loud and clear.
Okay. What I'm saying is remember that the multimedia modules would be open for other students to choose from the different minors. So more often than not, you would end up with enough students selecting the various modules for the modules to be on offer. Because modules such as web system design, that is a very good module if you're going to be doing web development. It teaches you how to use the different web technologies to develop your websites. And you have other, which is web system implementing. I don't remember the name offhand now,
Right.
but it's a very good mod. Those are the modules that focus on web development. And
Correct.
you do video editing, um, what is it? There's video editing, and there's some other animation related courses, and video you do graphics as well.
Right. And in addition to what Miss Lynch just said, right, you also have in Miss Lynch's specialization, the enterprise systems, you also have, as I'd mentioned before, the core module that you do. Remember when I shared the module selection guide earlier? You have to do web development in the in second year, that's compulsory, right? Then you have to do um, in enterprise, right? You'd have to do enterprise systems 1 and 2, and those are heavy in terms of writing web systems, writing enterprise grade, right? Enterprise connotates in your mind organizational level. You have to build systems, that are web-based, that talk to like databases, front-end and back-end scripting, and so on, right? So you will be exposed to those technologies if you choose the enterprise system.
I think though Mr. James's thing is that he wanted to also do some more graphic things along with the web.
Okay, right.
Is
And
that it, Mr. James?
No, miss. Like someone who is inspired to become
web
web
developer.
developer.
Okay, yes, you could do
Okay, well,
enterprise.
enterprise system, because
Enterprise.
you had mentioned the graphic design and things like that. So you have, that is why I was saying the multimedia would have a combination of both the web design and the graphics that you are interested in. But if it's mostly web design, enterprise system is where you should probably be considering, because it deals with the web design as well as there is the database that any software that you're building, whether web or otherwise, it will need a strong database for support.
Right.
All right, and Miss Lynch mentioned the electives. I'm just scrolling through the electives that are available, the upper SCIT electives. So on the selection guide where it says you choose 2 or 3 upper SCIT electives, those are 3 and 4 credit modules, and they are modules that start with 3 something or 4 something. So you couldn't choose OOP, for instance, as an elective, right? Because object-oriented programming starts with 2. It's CMP 2 something or CIT 2 something, or you couldn't choose information technology as an elective, as an upper SCIT elective, because it is INT 1001. Any module though that starts with 3 or 4 in our degree, and it's not part of your core specialization, then you can choose it as an elective, right? And the student union usually posts this list. We update it, and also somebody is asking in the chat, why are some of the syllabi so outdated? We work on the syllabus. We have a active school curriculum committee, and we are always constantly updating the syllabus as technology improves and so on. Right?
Just David, I would want to know what syllabi they're referring to.
Oh, they didn't, the person posted a generic comment. Let me see who it was.
Yeah, well, ask a generic question.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of us using outdated syllabi.
And in general, sometimes the syllabus may be a little dated, but the content sometimes is
Very relevant.
Relevant content that is.
Okay, the person who asked it was Crazy Katie. Says, so if we are trying to prepare students for the working world, why are some syllabus in SCIT outdated? That was the question. And Katie, you heard the response. And guys, remember, we're accredited and we wouldn't be recognized internationally. That accreditation says something, right? We wouldn't be accredited if we were really banding about a very outdated and archaic course of study and a set of syllabi. All right? You can rest assured in that.
Mr. Chair, may I respond as well?
Certainly, Sir Graham.
Yeah, good afternoon, colleagues and students. As the other presenters indicated, the content of the syllabi are not necessarily outdated. They're relevant content. And how they're presented in the classes also reflects new ways to deliver them. What might be outdated at times is that the format of the curriculum of the syllabus has changed, and the old syllabi need to conform to the new format. So a lot of those outdatedness can also be attributed to a formatting issue that the Office of Teaching and Learning is requiring that all syllabi reflect the new format, and not necessarily that the content is not relevant. Back to the chair.
Right. Thank you. The chair is actually Ms. Grandison. Thank you and welcome, Mr. Graham. Audience, for those who are watching us live on YouTube and from all over, from Montego Bay, from the franchises, from Kingston, that's Mr. Stanford Graham. He's in charge of the ICT division. He's a manager in charge of the ICT division. And he has been actively working on updating a number of the syllabi, including the foundation college level IT. All right, there's a question here. I think Miss Lynch, is Miss Burrell still here? They didn't indicate if it's Miss Lynch or Miss Burrell. I think Miss Burrell, Demar Brown. Yeah, Demar Brown is asking, what if you want to do a major in computer science, but you have not done or passed a second year module, and that module is not being offered in the summer? Would we still indicate computer science as a major? It sounds like Demar has one module outstanding, and he hasn't completed that one module yet. Can you go ahead and pick computer science?
Hello, can you hear me? Oh.
Yes, Ms. Morel.
All right. Which module is it that he has outstanding? It all depends. Could he answer?
Yeah,
because there are some specific modules in computer science that has prerequisites. So
all right, Demar, can you respond, please? Ms. Burrell is asking which module you have outstanding. While we're waiting on Demar, Crazy Katie is asking, I think this is for Ms. Lynch. So why in web programming, the teacher said, okay, this sounds personal. She has to teach in HTML4 because the syllabus is because of the syllabus, but we are using HTML5 now. All right, Ms. Lynch.
That is an issue I'm having addressed in terms of web programming, but the difference between 4 and 5 is not that great. It's the same format. They do teach the newer things though. I know that for a fact. but maybe the base HTML they're using is 4.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Lynch. Thank you, Mr. White and Mrs. Burrell Batik. And Mr. David Wright, who is the subject leader for our networking minor. Over to you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Grandison, my colleagues and other students. Can you confirm that you're seeing my screen and hearing me loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Wright, we're seeing and hearing.
Okay, great. Okay, so I've been asked to come and speak with you about why you should do a minor in networking, or if you choose to do another minor, why you should do electives from the networking specialization. So where I'll begin my presentation is to introduce you to the concept of what is currently referred to as the third platform. And just to give the background, the first two platforms, the first is what is referred to as mainframe computing. And that's where we had these very large computing hosts, and they were accessed by distributed dumb terminals, these green screens. They just had a monitor, keyboard, no processing power, and they relied entirely on the mainframe. And we then evolved to what is referred to as the second platform, which is client-server computing, which you would have been introduced to in your Computer Networking 1 CMP 1026 course, where essentially, and as we know, the client-server model is the model of the internet, where you have a server that provides or serves a resource to the clients that request it. So the third platform is sometimes referred to as SMAC. And SMAC is an acronym for social media, mobile computing, analytics, and in some documentation, you will see reference to artificial intelligence and cloud computing. And there's a fifth element that has sometimes been associated with the SMAC stack, which is actually bridging the gap between the third platform and the emerging fourth platform, and that is IoT. So when we look at all of these technologies, these are basically the current trends. These are what's hot right now in the technology field. And if we think about it, I don't think there's anybody on this platform or doing any of the SCIT modules or courses who does not have a social media account. And I would imagine there's nobody here who does not have a mobile phone. So we see the pervasiveness of social media, mobile, and also of cloud computing. And we are now seeing, with IoT, smart devices, smart homes, smart cities, and so on and so forth. And just to talk a little about analytics. In fact, what I'm about to say will apply to all of these areas, that all of these areas have a heavy dependence on networking, or in some instances, virtualization, which is closely related to networking. Just touching on analytics a bit. I'm not saying analytics is impossible, but analytics has and can be enabled by networking and cloud technologies, which allow processing power as well as storage capacity, which is not readily available. It can be presented via the cloud. So sometimes when you have a lot of data to store and to analyze, the storage capacity as well as the processing power sometimes has to be borrowed, so to speak, from the cloud, as it might be difficult to do so on your on-premise infrastructure. So with all of this being said, I'm just gonna delve just a little below the surface, not very deep, on three of these pillars that I'm referring to. So why networking? So mobile computing, as I mentioned earlier. Mobile computing is increasing in its pervasiveness, as mentioned, primarily because of the proliferation of mobile devices. We're finding now that so much of our computing not only can be done, but is being done by our mobile devices. Our mobile devices now are way more powerful than the computing devices of the 60s and the 70s. If you were to think of the computers that helped to launch the first, the Apollo aircraft, the mobile phone that you have now is way more powerful than that computer, as well as the computers that would have managed governments and countries in the 60s, 70s, and the 80s. We also have mobile technologies in terms of the mobile transmission media, Wi-Fi, which right now for a lot of us is like air. We can't live without Wi-Fi. Everywhere we go, we have to have connectivity to Wi-Fi. And 5G mobile, which is not in Jamaica as yet, but it's starting to be rolled out in the US and to an extent in China, it will eventually have to come here. And what 5G will give us is broadband and beyond broadband type of connectivity right into the palm of our hands. So when 5G comes, the mobile carriers, as Mr. White said earlier, can't get enough graduates from UTech to help them to roll out their respective networks. But we're gonna definitely need the expertise to be rolling out 5G in Jamaica. I mentioned cloud, and we're all exposed to cloud, and all of us use cloud in some way, shape, or form. Many of us would have a web-based email, whether it be Gmail, Outlook, or otherwise. But when you look on a larger scale, what cloud computing is allowing is a capability to rent infrastructure or software, I'll talk about the three models shortly, instead of having to own it. And you would, instead of buying hardware and software upfront, having to find that money upfront and procure that hardware and take time for it to be delivered, you can just, with the press of a few buttons, get access to computing resources to carry out your company's operation. And you pay a monthly, and in some instances, an annual fee, as opposed to having to fork out the money upfront. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are three primary models as it relates to cloud. There's infrastructure as a service, where the cloud vendor will provide you with the hardware, and you bring your operating system and your applications and load on it. And it saves the time, as I alluded to earlier, of you having to source the hardware, order it, assemble it, and set it up, and so on and so forth. You also have platform as a service, where if you have an application to deploy and you don't want to have the headache of installing and configuring and managing the operating system, the cloud vendor will provide you with the hardware and the operating system, and you simply deploy your software on it. And then, of course, there is software as a service, where the cloud provider provides you with the hardware, the operating system, and the application, and you only have to provide your data. Little or no management on the part of the user. So there were the days when your computer was dependent on having software in order to be run or to be of use. Now we are in a situation where we are no longer dependent on the software to have our computer run. What we're dependent on is the network to provide us with the access, the connectivity to these powerful tools that are available for everybody. And now what we basically can do is outsource our infrastructure, our software, and so forth, instead of insourcing it. Have to have people on hand to be able to deploy our infrastructure and software. So I spoke about IoT earlier, all these cool sensors and devices that can monitor the environment and, based on certain triggers, be able to carry out various tasks. But all of these devices will require connectivity. And you have to understand the various types of connectivity that exist. Some of them are wired, some of them are wireless. This is where we get into things like Zigbee, Z-Wave, Wi-Fi, ANT, Bluetooth. There are so many wireless technologies out there. And it's important that you have an understanding of the features and limitations of each of them, which one allows a particular number of devices, what's the distance limitation, what's the power requirements, and all of that. So you need to understand these technologies. Now, even outside of the SMAC stack and IoT, why should you do networking? Well, networking is the very foundation of a lot of what you would do in the computing world. The fact of the matter is that we have to run on the hardware. So you would have done CMP 1026 and you would have been introduced to the OSI model and the TCP/IP model. So do networking because you may need to configure the switches and routers and firewalls that would operate at the hardware level of the networking stack. But if you're not going to specialize in networking, at least do some networking modules to have an appreciation for how the software layers, so the applications, are actually going to talk over the network. As I mentioned earlier, without software, once upon a time, the computer was useless. Now, the computer is useless without the network. Most of our applications are dependent on networks, whether they may be mobile apps or they be thick or web client applications, they require the network. So it's important that you understand how they talk over the network, as well as how to secure your applications that are going to work on the network, and also to customize your applications in such a way that they adapt to the highest level of performance on the network. Why else would you do networking? Well, you just love it. You either recognize that you have a passion for it. This is something that really gets me excited, and I want to learn more about it and I want to do more with it. But even better than passion, what about if it's your purpose? You recognize that I have a role to contribute to how we're going to design and implement and support the networks that are going to allow our society to function from day to day. Now, if I were to put a list of the careers that are available in networking on a slide, it couldn't hold. But I'm just gonna summarize them somewhat. A career in networking or studying networking can provide you with the foundation for providing support, whether it will be for tier 1 or tier 2 support for organizations that have a help desk. You would be the first line of support for users. And a lot of problems, given the fact that all the applications are moving to be networking based, a lot of the problems will tend to be discovered at the networking layer. And knowledge of networking would help to troubleshoot a lot of these systems. But let's say you actually want to design and implement and support the networking infrastructure. There are so many terms for these positions that I've just attempted to summarize them. Ultimately, you're either an engineer, which means that you focus more on the design and possibly the implementation, so either design or implementation or both. Or you could be an administrator, where you probably focus more on the support, the day-to-day management and operations and monitoring of the network infrastructure. And the titles will typically be network engineer, cloud engineer, systems engineer, depending on where the infrastructure is going to be. Is it going to be on premises or is it going to be in the cloud, as well as the network, cloud, and systems administrators. And having a knowledge of networking gives you a strong foundation for anything in cybersecurity. So whether you're going to be a cybersecurity analyst who will assess the security posture of an organization in order to make recommendations to protect the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability of the organization's data, or you're going to be a penetration tester who will attempt to break the system of an organization to help them see the weaknesses and what they need to do to fix it, and as well as to help them to fix it. And these are just some of the careers that are available with a foundation in networking. So the modules that are offered, for those of you who won't necessarily specialize and would just want to pick a module for an elective, these are the network administration and technical support. And you'll recognize, by the way, that all of these essentially have computer networking 1 as a prerequisite. So I'd recommend that if you didn't like or you didn't do well at computer networking, you may have to do a little refresher. But ultimately they are all based on that module. So there's digital communications and telecommunications, as well as advanced computer networks, both of which go much deeper into what you'd have covered in computer networking 1. Now, all students would have to do computer security, which is very useful. As I said, even if you're not going to go into networking, it's important that if you're going to be doing programming, database design, anything that may not necessarily be networking, you would have to provide the appropriate level of security for your applications and your databases. And in this module, you'll actually learn some of the weaknesses of websites as well as databases and find ways of correcting them. And then, of course, in distributed systems, you'll be introduced to how applications work over networks, and you will actually use Java, I believe it is Java currently. I'm not sure if we have introduced any other languages yet, but you would actually write applications to be able to work over networks. And then network management and security, where you'll learn the elements of designing security for networks, including and not limited to firewalls. And you would learn how to secure networks from an infrastructure as well as a software perspective. But I really just wanted to go through really quickly to touch on some reasons why you may want to do networking, as well as just highlight some of the modules that you can select if you don't necessarily want to select the networking specialization, but want to have a feel of some of the elements that would bolster whatever it is that you choose to do in your area of specialization. And that's it from me for now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wright. We will be monitoring the chat for any questions. But in the meantime, we will move on to our multimedia minor and our subject leader, Mr. Lashane Jones. Over to you, Mr. Jones. Right, it seems Mr. Jones is not us right now. So, all right, we will the Bachelor of Science in Animation, Production and Development, and the program director is Miss Carleen Black. So over to you, Miss Black.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the invitation. Mr. White, could you go ahead, please?
Yes, Miss Black, certainly. I was answering persons in the chat. Joshua, I will finish answering your question in a second. Okay. Let me just pause and share the screen. You should be seeing Miss Black's screen, Miss Black's video. All right. Is everyone seeing it?
Animation is very much known as utilizing computer technologies and hardware and software. It's very important for our students to be traditionally trained in the art of drawing and to understand the broader discipline of animation as an art form. Today, I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the exhibition displaying of animation student artworks, in which are rooted in traditional drawing skills and techniques, which is the first year in the program is very much about rooting the students in the foundations of animation.
Hello everybody, my name is Selena Collington and today my contribution is a pencil and charcoal rendition of the French painter Edward Desson's painting, The Swing. Seaborn, and the piece which I have given up for this exhibition is a drawing of Haile Selassie. It was an assignment given to us to produce a pastiche, which is a reference of another artist's work. I enjoyed, and I hope that you guys like the drawing also.
Good day, everyone. My name is Akeem Wilson, and my submission for the exhibit is a pastiche of Jupiter and Io, or Jupiter and Moon, by the Renaissance painter Antonio da Correggio.
Hello, my name is Joel Henry, and today on display I have a study of the skeletal system and also a pastiche of John Muir painting entitled Granny. The original painting is on display at the Olympia Gallery in
Hi everyone, my name is Shanti Ru, and my drawing is the Madonna of the Carnation by Leonardo da Vinci.
Mr. White, you can stop for me, please. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon again. I'm just ensuring that Mr. White's screen is off. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, Ms. Black.
I'm sure I'm not seeing my screen. Okay, there goes. All right, so animation. What you saw was an exhibition that took place earlier this year. And if you were paying attention, not just to the drawings, what you would have seen is the modules for which the students did some of that work, okay? So before you think of animation, there is a question that I ask. Is it for you? Is animation for you? That is one of the questions you need to answer. Hold on a second, I think. Apologies, I am having some connectivity. David just talked about connectivity issues, right? From morning, we have been having slow connections. All right, so is animation for you? There are a number of questions that I will answer shortly, but the animation industry currently is $270 billion US. Jamaica, we're not even creeping babies yet in that industry. However, the questions you ask yourself is, if you want to be part of that movement that takes Jamaica from just being a dot on the world map, do you want to be in that $270 billion industry? Is creativity in your DNA? And do you have any artistic work, creative works, and have been saving those works? Those are some of the questions you asked. Why? Question was asked as to how you transition into animation. The animation program is fairly new, and what has happened is to build a foundation for the kind of animation students we want. A lot of the concentration takes place in your first year, as you saw. So for you to get into the animation program, in addition to the normal entry requirements, you're already second year. So what would happen is you would need to provide a portfolio that shows those creative works that you already have. In terms of the credit transfers, I will show you the module selection guide in a bit. So what would happen based on university policies is that we would match what you've already done with what is required for the program and decide how you get the necessary credit transfers. But a lot of what happens in animation starts from scratch, okay? So you come in with a work ready mind, you have your portfolio, we can have dialogue as to how you get in. During the studies, we focus on traditional drawings and the principles of drawing. We focus on design and storytelling. We also focus on many, many, many more things. Figure analysis, 3D and 2D. Many, many more things are there in the program. In terms of your career, what we have is that our graduates can become animators, character and layout artists, that looks pale, 3D modelers, animation instructors, and script writers. Now, let me ask a question. You don't have to answer, but many of you, perhaps, if not, I don't know who would not have watched an animated film ever. But when you watch animated films, animated productions, and you look at the credits at the end, those are some of the areas into which our graduates will go. All right, so those are just a few of them. Now, in terms of making your money, you could do freelancing or you do a stable job. Now, one of the things with animation is that it requires a lot of time. What I did, and this was information, the source is there, that I pulled just on Sunday to show you some base salary. Simple Google search, I didn't do anything extra, just simple Google search. So the job titles are listed there. The entry level, where you're there for 0 to 12 months, depending on the contracts, and those are US dollars and per annum. And then while you're in your mid-career, which is 5 to 9 years based on this best college survey, the amounts are listed there. One of the things with having a job in animation, apart from having a solid job, if you have good time management skills and you really have time on your hands, then it may be that you can, what's the term we use? Juggle many more opportunities, but these are some of the base things that we see here. All right. In addition to being in the program, you get to participate in local and international events. And I just had 2 here, Kingston and Anime Carib. Kingston just completed and students from the animation program were successful in that. How you contact us, the contact information is there. And that's the end of my presentation. So I will take your questions. So for the young man who asked how you get in, let me stop sharing. stopping to share. Stop share. All right. So for the young man who asked the question previously as to how to transition, you'd come with your portfolio and would have dialogue. That's the quickest I can say.
All right, Miss. Good afternoon.
Good. I'm trying to see who is speaking.
Romano James.
All right, Romano.
Okay. So I've been interested in art and creativity and stuff like that for a long time. And like when I was in high school, I did not like choose visual arts as subject because my my what I say goals or something like that, career interests at the time a bit different. And I currently I haven't created a portfolio because
Okay, go on, Romano.
I do art on my own. I have
Yes.
a tablet and I do Photoshop and I create logos and stuff like that for my friends. And
Romario, may I interrupt you?
no.
No, hold on. Because you said something that I need to correct. You say
Okay.
you don't have a portfolio, but you have so
Yeah,
much
that's the
work.
thing.
You're now highlighting the work that you have done.
That's
All
the
you
thing.
need
Like,
to go on.
I like to save like my best work.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and like sometimes if something is not up to my standard, well, it's not my best work.
Okay.
So I'm currently experimenting and stuff like that, but an unfortunate situation happened where my graphics tablet cable magically stopped working. So
okay.
I'm yet to source a cable for it because it's a pen display. So you know that it's a screen in itself and you draw on the screen. So it's a type C cable to HDMI and two USB 3s. And it's hard to find in Jamaica, so I have to source it from the actual site where I bought it from.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was planning to create my portfolio over summer, but yeah.
Without the tablet, it's gonna prove difficult. Where is the work that you have already done, Romano? You have those saved, don't you? Romano?
Yeah, yes, miss?
I was asking, where's the work that you have already done? Have you saved that?
Miss, to tell you the truth, miss, a series of unfortunate things happen. It might sound like a made up story, but after the cable got magically stopped working, they hold my computer got a virus, and said virus turned every single document, picture, video, even my schoolwork into an unopenable file. And well, it was a ransomware virus, right? And then I had to reset my computer and lose all my work.
All right, let me tell you what you're going to do for me, Romano. You're going to contact me. I'll send my contact information to you privately, and we talk about this and see how we're able to assist you. Okay.
Okay, miss.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes. Would we just do like 2D stuff, or would we like go into like 3D animation, like in Maya or in Blender? or maybe do script animation and stuff like that.
You're exposed to the full range of what
range?
yes. So
Really?
you get a touch of the 2D and the 3D and the storytelling and the script writing and the character design and everything.
Keyframes and like the whole.
Yes, everything, the whole range.
Wow.
So as I say, you sound interested, and I'm gonna send you the information now so that you can contact me and we talk about your unfortunate situation and see how what we can figure if you're really interested, okay?
Okay.
Thank
Miss,
you.
Thank you.
Can I get someone to talk about web development? Can I get a web development one-on-one talk?
Well, we don't really do web development. You, Garvin, that was the person who was asking about web development earlier.
Yes, miss.
Yes, I'm sure that can also be facilitated. So I would suggest through Miss Granderson, you send her your contact information and the topic area that you want the one-on-one with, and have her arrange that for you.
Okay, miss, thank you.
That would be best, Garvin. Thanks. Thank you so much, Ms. Black, for your presentation. And we were slated to end at 5, but it seems we'll be going a little bit over. So thank you guys for your patience. We will be moving on to the Bachelor of Science in Computer Networking Security, and the program director is Mr. Judd Barrett. So over to you now, Mr. Barrett.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for joining late, had some challenges. Okay, so I'm going to make this short. Both subject leads for the program are in the meeting, and the subject leads are Mrs. Michelle March, which is the subject lead for virtualization, and Mr. Kevin Johnson, who's the subject lead for security. The program started 2 years ago. And so this academic year coming in, we'll be going into the majors now, the third year, which the majors start. And the focus of the program is to give students a strong skill set in managing networks, building infrastructure, network infrastructure, which the virtualization major will be, the name will be changed to infrastructure, and also computer security. So the students are exposed to both specialized, majors early, and then they will select if they want to go cybersecurity or virtualization / infrastructure. As I said, it will be renamed infrastructure. The main focus of the program is not only to allow them to be tech savvy, but also to give them the skill set in terms of operating within an organization or starting their own startup company. So they do a number of business related modules and also entrepreneurial skill set modules. So as I said, we have 2 cohorts so far, and we're going into our third year where we have a total of currently 65 students who have applied for the year coming in August. And so that's the program. It's a very robust program. And also it's a program that is geared not only at the tech skill set, but also the business acumens. So that's an overview of the program. And I'll hand over to, I think Mr. Kevin Johnson has a presentation to share regarding the cyber or the security arm of the majors. Mr. Johnson, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. May I be allowed to share my screen for a minute?
I believe you have the privilege, sir.
All right, let's go. Give me a second there, please. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kevin Johnson, and I am the person who is responsible for all matters security in this new degree program that Mr. Barrett was just explaining to you about. And I have a very short presentation, or at least I'm going to make it short, given that we have a time constraint. And this is my presentation overview. I'm just going to talk a little bit about what cybersecurity is and the top reasons to choose cybersecurity as a career, and of course, the course itself, and some of the skills that are needed, and of course, the careers, the career fields in this particular discipline, and the approximate salaries that an individual could potentially get, given that you venture in this particular area. So what is cybersecurity, you may want to ask? Really, cybersecurity is the art of protecting networks, devices, and data from unauthorized access or criminal use, and the practice of ensuring confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. And this is generally called the CIA triad within computer security. Within computer security, this is the very basic, or the very essence on which all things security is built on: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And we see that our world right now is in a cyber warfare, and many organizations are coming under tremendous amounts of attacks from criminal elements who are hell-bent on trying to breach the security systems of these organizations to gain access to very sensitive data. And there are waves and waves and waves of attack. It's almost endless. And it's incumbent on us to be defenders of these systems, whether government systems or private networks, to ensure that the company continues to function and our country continues to function with its information system and the valuable assets stored therein. I want to point out that cybersecurity is no longer a thought in the back of organizations' mind. With all these cyber attacks going on right now, it is in the forefront and has become a priority to a lot of organizations, so much so that it's no longer just a component of an IT department, but rather it's a functional unit by itself. So there is an IT department and there is a cybersecurity department by itself in a lot of organizations around the world. All right, so let's jump straight into what are some of the reasons, or the top reasons for you to choose cybersecurity as a career. Well, the reasons I'm going to give in a minute or so are not necessarily organized in any particular way, but I'm just going to give you some reasons nonetheless. All right, so let's go. Job security. If ever a time people are concerned about job security is in this unsettling time, where the waters of the sea within the job market seem to be very troubled. And there seem to be storm after storm after storm that is causing people much concern, so much so that some people are stressed and frustrated and just unsure how tomorrow is going to turn out in terms of their job. But there is a lighthouse that is beaming its light on the troubled waters, and that is in the area of cybersecurity. Because in the area of cybersecurity, because of the environment in which companies operate, and the fact that hackers out there and malicious individuals out there are constantly trying to breach security to get access to the valuable assets that the company has, or companies have, then there is always a need to employ people such as yourself, prospective individuals looking in, to come in with all your talents, with all your giftedness, with all your creativity and innovative spirit, to come and to help to bolster the security posture of the organization. So as far as we can see, that this is a cat and mouse game. As new technologies come on the scene, hackers try to find a way around it. Therefore, there is a a continued approach or attack against the network, and therefore there will always be a need to employ individuals. And some of you might be thinking right now, but there is artificial intelligence that might just very well replace the human component or the human element in cybersecurity. Not so fast, ladies and gentlemen, not so. Because even artificial intelligence systems needs to be protected too. And even artificial intelligent systems are still being hacked. Google it, check it out. And so there will always be a need for cybersecurity professionals. Let's get into another reason. The opportunity to work anywhere in the world and in any industry. There are some career fields that you may choose to go into that is restricted to a specific industry. But when it comes to cybersecurity, you can work in schools, you can work in banks, you can work in the medical industry, you can work just about anywhere and any place as well, right? Because every network requires some amount of protection. Why? Because the network itself has valuable data and systems that must be protected from criminal elements, whether they are on the inside or on the outside. All right, and some of the places, and let me just quickly give you a couple things here, just to whet your appetite a little bit more. There is and has been a cybersecurity skills gap internationally, which means that there are lots of opportunities to be gainfully employed in cybersecurity, but not a lot of skilled individuals in this particular area to occupy these jobs. So therefore, it still remains a very viable area to be employed, to get in as a career and be gainfully employed. All right, because there is a skills gap. Also, the jobs are in high demand. Companies are looking for people. They are begging people literally to come and help them to defend their network. Will you be drafted in this army to fight against these malicious guys in this warfare? Will you be? Come on today and sign up for SCIT degree and you will be just fine. All right. So according to the New York Times, it reports that there is a stunning statistic in relation to computer security. And there's a prediction that says that there will be 3.5 million unfilled cybersecurity jobs globally in this particular year, 2021. Will you be one of those persons trying to occupy one of these jobs and doing exceptionally well, not just for yourself, but also for UTech and also for your country, Jamaica, knowing that you are representing the country of your birth? My aim this evening is to inspire you to find the energy, to find the passion to get there. It can be done. You can do it. All right. So here are some countries that actually need professionals in the area. Jamaica, of course, and please be a patriot. Before you look out, look in. Jamaica needs you as well, all right? So Jamaica, US and Canada, of course, Europe, and these are just some countries in Europe, Asia, Japan, Malaysia, Philippines, all need people with your abilities, all right? Now, another reason is that the field of cybersecurity is dynamic and changing with unlimited growth potential because the landscape is ever changing. New technologies, different means and ways of attack, and the vectors are always changing. It means that you have the ability to keep learning and learning and learning new technologies, neural networks, artificial intelligence, risk management. You have a whole lot of things to learn. And so you will never be bored doing cybersecurity. You will never be sitting at your desk just pressing keys on your keyboard and wondering what next to do, because you have exhausted all the possibilities of what is to be done. There is always something new coming out. There's always a new kind of attack that I've never seen, that organizations have never seen before, that you will have to find a solution or an answer to, and you are required, right, to get to that place. It's very wide. Cybersecurity is very wide. And so we all need to be mindful. That's a very big field. And we need to look at our skills and what we desire to do and see where we fit in and fit ourselves there. We could specialize in cloud and virtualization. scripting and programming, network and IoT, data security, risk management, artificial intelligence, and the list is just endless. But nevertheless, based on the time constraint that we have, I'm going a little fast, all right? So here's another reason. Opportunity to contribute towards the greater good of society. If it is that you are more philanthropic and you have this passion, not just to gain a salary, but you want to contribute to the development of your country, or you want to help an organization to protect its network, and you feel a sense of satisfaction to know that you are able to do that. While the nature of the job itself may not necessarily give you the kind of popularity that you need, but you are a silent hero. You may work alone, or you may work in group, but you will not necessarily be seen on TV as an hero like that, but you are a silent hero because it is your heroic efforts that is helping to hold the organization afloat and for it to carry out its daily functions, all right? Now, here are some statistics to show you that you need to jump on this thing at this moment in time. 88% of global business organizations has mandated or encouraged all their employees to work from home due to the pandemic, according to Gartner. But this, ladies and gentlemen, has given rise to hackers now turning their attention to individuals working from home. Because one of the easiest way to attack an organization is by attacking the lax security of the devices that are connected to a home network, and then use that home network as a pivot to get into the company's network, either through a VPN, which we can exploit, or any other means, right? So that's that. Also, phishing attacks are very, very prevalent and are increasing. There is more than 80% of reported security incidents as a result of phishing, and seen $17,700 US dollars lost every minute as a result of phishing emails and other kind of phishing campaign, where you click on a particular malicious link, it take you to a website, then try to get all your credit card information, and then clone your card, make purchases on Amazon, and you lose money like that, right? And among other things. And also, if you are thinking about the money aspect of it, though that should not be your primary focus, but it's also a very lucrative career. And here are some statistics as well. Let me just jump to one of them. In 2019, the average salary for cybersecurity roles was, this is US dollars, $94,984 per year, which is a 2.4% increase in the salary in 2018. And it keeps increasing. And in fact, it is being estimated, or it is being predicted, that these salaries for cybersecurity professionals, and these are base salaries, will continue to increase as the demand increases for individuals such as yourself, right? So let's wrap this up in a minute or so. So how do you get started in cybersecurity? Well, the first thing I will suggest to you is to get into this cybersecurity degree in SCIT. That's the first thing. There are other options. You can try to do it on your own by studying by yourself, but people generally don't have a great level of discipline to be able to do things on their own. Hence, UTech SCIT provides a good ecosystem and learning environment for you to own the skills that you need to be able to function in this particular area of cybersecurity. Listen, there are 3.5 million jobs out there that is just waiting for you to apply. And the moment you apply, you will be successful. Guess why? Because you'll be educated at SCIT. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Just say it to yourself, I will sign up today. You don't have to go any further. Just say I will and make it happen. Make it happen. Amen. Let the church say amen. Amen. All right. So identify the talents and the passions and the propensities that you have, of course, and then select a particular path, because there are lots of paths in security. And when you have identified that, then you can do some certifications that supports that particular path. And we, as lecturers, will guide you in the process to ensure that you have the requisite skills to get where you need to be. Now, here are some of the various areas in cybersecurity that we can look at. And remember, I said a while ago that there are lots of them and some of the skills that you're going to need. Of course, cybersecurity in terms of digital forensics, DACA security, which is new, mobile security, cryptography, IoT security, malware analysis, ERP security. There are a whole lot of things. Will you not enlist in this army to fight against the bad guys today? All right. And these are just some of the titles that you can actually be employed as and make yourself as productive as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, my time with you has just expired. Back to you. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Ms. Grandison. Okay, Ms. Grandison is on mute, but that was an excellent presentation. All right, I noticed a number of questions were coming through on YouTube. I posted them in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, colleagues, can you answer the question, please? For the students on YouTube who have been posting.
All right. In the meantime, thanks, Mr. Johnson. As I said, he's the subject lead, and quite rightly, he's very passionate about it. He's one of the good guys wearing a good white hat. I would like to ask if Mrs. Marsh, who is the subject lead for virtualization infrastructure, if she has any few words to say. Mrs. Marsh is still here?
Yes, I'm still here, Mr. Barrett. I want to say something, but it doesn't really have anything to do with virtualization.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Marsh. And then we have...
Because I've been sitting here and I think the people who are listening might be a little confused, making it seem as if all that is being said is being offered to everybody. And I'm getting that there might be a sense of confusion out there. So the thing is that there are different degrees that are in the School of Computing. And when you get to third year, whichever degree you're in, not third year, level 3, when you get to level 3 of whatever degree you're in, you can then specialize. And the offerings are different depending on the degree that you're in. So it's not a case that when you get to third year, you can then go do animations or then you can go do cybersecurity. If you're going to do those things, you will have to change program. And what that might mean is that the things that you were doing from between year 1 and 2, you might have to go back and do some stuff. So for example, if you decide that, no, I'm going to do animation, to go back to first year animation, what did I not do for first year? What did I not do for second year? And the modules that I have already done, if they're in the animation program, then I can transfer those credits. But we should be looking to see, okay, you're doing BSc computing, then what are there are 2 majors under that. There is ComSci and there's IT. Which of those are you going to choose? And if you choose IT, what then is a specialization that you're going to choose? If you're in the computer networking degree, then there are 2 specializations, cybersecurity and virtualization. Which one am I going to choose? If you're in the information systems, computer information systems, it also has majors. Which major are you going to choose? If you're doing animation degree, which major are you going to choose? So at this stage, the presentations are not for students to go change degree. Unless listening to the presentations, you're compelled that this is what you are hearing from a different program really I don't want to say that, really sounds like you, and you really want to change field, then you would change. So that's what I want to say. I think students are not getting it. I think students are not seeing it a little as clearly as I think they should be seeing it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Marsh. And while you were talking, the comments in the chat were saying, it piques my, malware analysis piques my interest. The advertisements are up. Right, so we had said it at the beginning, but some persons came on late. We have about 50 odd persons, some on YouTube, some on the Zoom chat. But thanks for that clarity, Miss Marsh. All right, Mr. Barrett and your team, you want to say anything else? We have a number of questions coming in, and Miss McNamara is here. Would want Miss McNamara to present her program as well. But Mr. Barrett, anything else from your team? And are there any more questions for Mr. Barrett? Oh, there was one.
Sorry for that. Sorry for that. You're saying, hey, Mr. White.
Yeah. Question from Shamar Brown. Will there be a work experience? All right, there's some grammar there. Will there be a work experience activity offered to the cybersecurity students?
Okay, good question. Good question. Yes, and that yes is a very political yes. You can understand in terms of organizations are very sensitive about having internship in their organization where you are canvassing the security capabilities of the organization that can be used against them. However, we will be having simulation groups, and we will also be having internal projects that we're working on. In fact, we already have a simulation group that we supported the government of Jamaica recently by reviewing some of their sites coming out of the whole COVID-19 application being hacked. So it's a sensitive matter, I must say, but we will have simulation groups and we will have projects that we will be undertaking during the summer or during the semester. But you can just imagine that not every organization is going to open their door to you understanding their vulnerability, and you may take advantage of it. So it's a contingent yes with that.
All right, thanks, Sir Barrett. Right.
David?
Yes. Michelle, and after
So
Michelle,
White?
yes.
I just want to add that internship is offered to all students. I think internship is also a part of our program, Mr. Barrett?
Correct, Mrs. Marsh.
Right, and internship allows students, because in computing, as Mr. Barrett mentioned, it's difficult to actually find computing places. Sorry about that. It's actually difficult to find computing places for students because of the fear factor. But students can always go out and find their own places and use it as internship, which would take the place of an elective, and to get the work experience that they want. But there is SAPNA that those persons who are inclined, you're encouraged to join. SAPNA is a very good place to be because SAPNA does offer you hands-on experiences. There are some, like Mr. White, Mr. White, you have a club. Right, that offers the kind of hands-on experience that you would get if you're in the field, but I mean, it's a little different. So there are opportunities, and internship is the biggest one. And SAPNA is also behind it, that you can use as an opportunity to get hands-on experience or working experience.
Excuse me, is it like, is a internship for every single like every single computer program?
Right. Internship is optional, but as Ms. Mar said, it's available to all students. All right. And Sashkia Milsa is asking about internships. Are we the ones who have to go out and seek the opportunities?
In most cases, yes. So there are companies will approach us and ask us for interns, but majority of the students, they get internship by going out and searching for these. And bear in mind that internship doesn't have to be here in Jamaica. It can be anywhere as long as the monitoring arrangements can be organized.
All right, thanks, Miss Marsh. All right, Miss, the program director for the other degree, the computer information systems, is here. Miss Grandison had to step out. She's still in the chat, but she had to step away for a moment. Can we invite Miss McNamara? We're just wrapping up, guys. And any other questions? And want to thank all the colleagues who have stayed on and are assisting with answering the questions here in the Zoom chat, and also to the many students who are all across the country and watching on YouTube live. All right, Miss Mark.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I was asking, had somebody presented on the EC specialization already? Was that done?
Enterprise?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Miss
Right.
Janice Lynch did that.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to just talk about the program that I'm responsible for. It's a separate program from the BSc in computing. And I'm just gonna, it's a new program. It's 2 years old. So I'm just gonna talk about this program for persons who are interested. You might know of persons who are still in high school who may be interested as well. So I'm going to be quick. All right. So over the last decade, even last 5 years, we've really had a data explosion. And this has resulted in the generation of data, a lot of data, and it is occurring in many sectors of the society, social media, retail. We also, what has happened as well is that we also have had the situation where the cost of storage is constantly going down, and we have much more capacity to store data. And so as the amount of data grows, it becomes more difficult to manage. And hence the need for data analytics. Data analytics is basically the science of analyzing raw data to make conclusions about it, informed conclusions, and to inform decisions. And this degree, specialization in the computer information systems degree, is really a response to this data explosion. Data analytics involves inspecting, cleaning, transforming, and modeling data with the objective of discovering useful information that can inform decision-making and support. So when we talk about data analytics, there are 4 types of data analytics. Descriptive analytics, which tells us what's happening in the business. There's also diagnostic analytic, which tells us why it is happening. There's predictive analytics, which says what's likely to happen. So that's a prediction. And then there's prescriptive analytic. What do we need to do about it? What do I need to do? What does a business need to do? Data analytics is a domain, if you want, of data science. And data science basically has all of these areas: visualization, statistical modeling, statistical computing, database technology, data technology, data research, data consulting, real-world applications, and scientific methods. All of these are some of the various aspects of data science. And so this degree covers many of these areas. So we look at visualization is an important part, and visualization is basically presenting the data in a visual way. And so this program has various aspects of visualization. And then there's the element of statistical modeling and statistical computing. Even now, things like even our COVID cases and COVID prediction involves statistical modeling. And then there's the database. So if you really like database and database technology, and you know now that databases form the back end of practically every system that you can think of. There's some database in the background. And so data technology and database technology forms a core part of this area of study. And so data analytics is one of the specialization in the computer information systems degree. And really what the data analytics will do is it will give companies business, what we call business intelligence. And this business intelligence is what will provide a competitive advantage for organizations. And the competitive advantage is what will drive digital transformation and change and redefine customer experience. The other part of this degree is what we call technology entrepreneurship. And in the COVID, as a result of COVID, you will notice that a lot of businesses have had to go online. A lot of persons were laid off, and people have actually gone on to develop their own companies. And of course, within cyberspace, right? So it's a major, it's becoming even more important. And there is an element of innovation that goes with technology entrepreneurship. Small businesses form a major part of the ecosystem of entrepreneurship in any country. So most of the entrepreneurship startup companies really start as small businesses, and then they will evolve. And every student at UTech does a course in entrepreneurship, and we encourage students to develop their products and services and to market them. And so this degree has this element of technology entrepreneurship. So it's equipping students to identify their products and to develop their products and to push them out into the market. So the entrepreneurship is a key part of driving any economy. So even in large economies, US economy, a big part of the economy, of the players in the economy are the small business, the entrepreneurs. And we say here, economy-wise, high earnings through entrepreneurship can help to boost national income and tax revenue. Technology entrepreneurship, there are two primary types. You have technology developers. Those are those who develop a new technology or product or service capable of driving a business. And then there are technology users, and those are those who will see a new technology, a new idea, understand how to apply it, and will be able to apply it within the business or the market as needed, and thus giving the company a competitive advantage. And so this program, Computer Information System, so Computer Information System, this program actually combines computing with business and mathematics. There's some mathematics, mainly statistics, and then we have the elements of visualization and so on. So it provides a solid theoretical foundation with hands-on practical training to equip graduates to focus on various aspects in an organization. It equips graduates to design, create, and effectively manage computer business solution. And as I said before, there are two majors: data analytics and technology entrepreneurship. And the outcome, graduates will be able to be business analysts, data analysts, management trainees, IS system auditors, digital marketing practitioners, website practitioners, data scientists, software quality assurance practitioner, and technology entrepreneur. And so these are the types of jobs that the graduates of the Computer Information Systems degree will be able to take up. I had listed these figures are US figures in terms of the salary in the States for some of these offerings. And just some more on the degree. It will utilize competence. It utilizes a competency-based approach to produce capable and confident graduates prepared for the global workforce. It equips graduates with knowledge and skills to exploit opportunities created by technology innovations. And one of the primary objective is to ensure that the graduates will hit the ground running. Other characteristics: critical thinking, reasoning, being able to make decisions based on the data. And these critical thinking was something we're talking about in terms of the programs in SCIT. But I want to focus on just the degree, the CIS degree. And so I'm just going to come back to this just to wrap up. So the Computer Information Systems degree gives a general exposure to computing, management studies, math, particularly statistics, and there are two majors: data analytics and technology entrepreneurship. And at the end of the day, we expect students to be able to carry out these kinds of functions: data analytics, business analysts, management trainee, IS auditor, and so on. These are the functions that we expect that students graduating from this program will be able to carry out. And that would be my overview for the Computer Information Systems degree. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. McNamara. Are there any questions? This is an exciting time to, sorry, my headset. Thank you very much, Mrs. McNamara. Are there any questions? Miss Marsh, you had your hand up still? Or Miss Marsh, your hand is up? You'd like to...
What was that, Mr.?
I saw your hand up.
My hand?
Yes.
No, my hand shouldn't be up. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right, no problem. Are there any questions, students? Thanks to all those who are logging in from all across the country. Really, really appreciate it. I'm glad to see people from Westmoreland, people from Montego Bay, people from Mandeville, people from the other end of the island, St. Thomas, Portland. right? Thanks, guys.
Mr. White?
Yes, all the guys were streaming too. All right, there was a question, Miss Marsh, asking for the summer. And I just share the summer timetable. Sorry, the summer list, right? So summer starts, I'm coming to Miss Marsh in a second. Summer starts, classes start on May 17th, and selection for summer starts Monday coming. And these are the modules that are available. The ones that are confirmed are those that months ago, when we reached out to you through the student union, you had indicated you wanted these modules to be taught, and I went out and found lecturers to teach them. So just quickly running through for those who asked in the chat. At level 1, IT will be running, and Mr. Graham is here. Will be taught by Mr. Denville Allen and company. Miss Black is here still. At level 2, we'll have CLDD, data structures, will be by Mr. Smith. We'll definitely have OOP, taught by Rowan Clark, to be taught by Rowan Clark. He's here in the chat as well. Over in animation, we will have animation business operations, will be taught by Akindele Hicklin. At level 3 as well, we'll have enterprise architecture and infrastructure. Derek Logan, he was the first speaker, if you recall. We'll also have definitely operating systems to be taught by Tyrone Edwards. In the animation program, we'll also have script writing too, and those are level 3 modules. There was a request, I think it was last night or this morning, for mobile computing to be offered. Mr. McGowan stepped up to the plate, Ian McGowan, and I should have it confirmed by this evening, right? It says here to be confirmed because students just reached out to me. So we have about 17 students who are interested. It should be on the timetable tonight or tomorrow. At level 4, we have analysis of programming languages to be taught by Professor Sean Top, and that is confirmed. And to be confirmed are computer security, Kevin Johnson, who spoke earlier, and IS strategy planning and management to be taught by Lib Chambers, to be confirmed. Let me tell you, the level 3 and 4 modules can be selected as upper SCIT electives if they are not already part of your core diet. All right, and then the out of school modules now are that I am aware of, right? Of course, you'll see the full listed next week, Monday, when selection opens. But at level 1, we have, and these are all confirmed, academic writing 1 and 2, and introduction to psychology and environmental studies. Those are all level 1 modules. At level 2, we have introductory statistics, and at level 3, we have calculus 1 and forensic computing. So that answers the question for the persons who were asking what is being taught in summer. I think Ms. March was trying to come in, and if there are any other questions, can we want to wrap up now?
Number of students are inquiring about independent study.
Oh, right. I posted it in the chat. Ms. March, you want to take it?
I could. It's just to say independent study is done when a module is not being offered for the semester. And the way to approach it, I think that David, they send you an email to say that they're interested, and then the logistics is worked out. But you won't see it on the timetable to do. And you, the students, are not responsible for going out and finding a lecturer. You talk to the program director and he will work out the logistics. Right, Mr. White?
All right, yes, thanks, Ms. Marsh. Okay, so what we did is I posted the complete policy, the university policy, in the chat, both the YouTube chat as well as the Zoom chat. And it's very comprehensive. There are some criteria that you have to meet. You can't pick more than 3. You can't do more than 3 modules for independent study. Also, that in order for you to do independent study, that module cannot be offered in the same semester that you are doing it, right? Also, if the module has a heavy lab component, we generally don't do it. In fact, it's not advised. because independent study, as the name implies, means that you will be studying, the lecturer or supervisor will be sending you the material, but you won't be going to class as you would generally, right? So independent study is normally for those persons who, you know, we have persons who have like one or some module left to complete, right? And the module is not being offered in the particular semester, and they believe they can tackle the module if the lecturer sends them the material, and there's a contract that's written up, that's agreed by both the lecturer and the student with some set deadlines. There are some set dates for turning in of assignments and so on. Remember, you won't be having class, you know, right? So the lecturer sends you the material. You essentially go out on your own and read up the material, study, do the test on the agreed date, submit the material on the agreed dates. The lecturer marks it and turns it in, and your grades will be posted on the system for you. All right. So that is there for independent study. We generally ask that students also liaise with the particular supervisor, because what you find is that there has to be that synergy between the two, or else it's not going to work. All right. And once everything is in agreement, the form is online, it's fillable, but if you email me or my admin assistant, I will send it to you as well, or any of the program leaders, because the program leaders can also approve it. Program leaders can act on my behalf, and it's in the policy. So it's sent to us. We cannot sign off on it unless you have completed all the sections. So the student and the lecturer has to complete all the sections on there, right? And oh, you're seeing my screen still, right? So it's all there. I posted it in the chat. You can read it up. And once all the sections are completed and signed off by both lecturer and student, then I will approve it, or my program leaders will approve it, and then it's sent off to the appropriate, I think it's the Vice Dean's office, for final processing and approval. All right. All right. Are there any more questions? We have been here. It has been a little while. We started at 3, but really want to thank all the lecturers, all the presenters who came. Is Mr. Lushin or Russian Jones here? Okay. Any other questions? Students, thanks for staying with us.
Afternoon. I have a question.
Please do. Please go ahead.
I was wondering if I could still sign up for multimedia, because I want to do graphics, animation, as well, and I'm also interested in web programming. So I was wondering.
Which degree program? You're part of the BSc in computing?
Yes. I'm at the Money campus.
Yes. So this forum is for you, Ashanti. Right. So welcome. So you are in second year. So right. So you will have completed your modules. You need to come over now. Complete the transfer. Reach out to your coordinator. Right. Let them transfer the modules over here at the Papin campus. Miss Groves will.
You're not doing no work.
Oh, Michelle. Right. Here at the Papin campus, Miss Dawes, right, will receive your application. And if everything is in order, I will sign off on it. And you will join our team. You'll join the rest of students who are in third year. All right. So you need to indicate your specialization on your portal, as we were saying, if you were watching the various presentations, and you select your modules. All right. Thanks for that, Ashanti, and welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question? Any other question on YouTube? Any question on YouTube? Any question in the chat? All right. It has been well, I hope you found it a fruitful session. I'm excited, and although I'm wearing the PD hat here, I wish I could take it off, you know, become a student all over again, because these are exciting times. And if you notice, I allowed my subject leaders to present, because if I started talking, I would have finished, right? It's so exciting. I'm getting so much requests for our students. If you are seeing my screen, let me just share a little bit with you. And Kevin Johnson, if he's still here, he can back me up. Just today, we were getting a call, you know, a company urgently wants a programming student to develop a license plate reader. Look at this. this came and they're deliberately asking for SCIT students, right? Students from our programs. They want a front-end web developer, and they are coming to us because they have hired web persons from us before, right? So those persons who are asking about web programming, there is something about our SCIT students, right? So they're asking for a front-end web developer. All right, Grace Kennedy is asking for a back-end developer, right? I don't want to read the company names. Somebody else wants a data scientist here in Kingston. These are jobs that I just got. And well, so I wasn't going to call in the name, but Digicel has a number of our graduates down there and they still want more, right? You heard Mr. David Wright talking, right? In fact, a number of our graduates have now moved up the ranks to become supervisors and managers down there, all right? And I really am so proud of the students who have gone on before. You see them taking the Sagicor Challenge, you see them winning the Caribbean Girls Hackathon, not once, right? You see them going to China on the Huawei thing. You see them winning the NCB pitch. You see them winning we won the WOJ competition. We came first place in the world, right? And we were, a few years ago, is Miss Black still here? We were runners up in the robotics competition. You saw in the Observer and in the Gleaner, you saw in the Observer that article about Awesome Jeline. She just graduated. You saw in the Gleaner, right? The Zermasol, our student, right, developed something that was helping to tackle the fight against COVID. And PAHO internationally endorsed it, right? I mean, we have so much other examples of our students that have excelled. We have students at Facebook right now. We have students at Amazon. I mean, when I say students, past students, just graduated. I'm not talking about 10 years ago or 15 years ago or my time when I was a SCIT student, right? And as we fine-tune the degree, persons are looking up and saying, there's something about these SCIT students, right? And if I talk about my degree, but I have my other PDs here, right, who spoke about theirs, there's something also about the BSc computing graduates. And new degrees have really been doing excellently as well, right? So I want to encourage you, right? You have enough information here. I hope this information session was of use to you, right? Sit down and think about it, pray about it, right? And make the right decision, make the right choose the right specialization, and be out of here in no time, because corporate Jamaica or the Caribbean region or the world is waiting on you, right? So thanks again for coming. If there are any final questions, I'll entertain them. If not, we are going to end the session shortly. So are there any final comments, any final questions? Any of the PDs want to say any closing remarks? Any students? Anybody from Westmoreland? Anybody from St. Thomas? The middle of the island, Manchester? Montego Bay? I see Otirius is in the house a lot. Number of persons here from the community colleges. Right. Okay, and thanks, Miss Marsh. Miss Marsh is also answering on the live feed on the YouTube chat as well. Right. Any other question or comment? Oh, remember also, you see that your academic advisor is here to help you. So if you think after all of this flood of information, you still want to ask more questions, your academic advisor, right, is available. Every student should have been assigned an academic advisor. If you don't have one, you can reach out to our admin and one will be provided for you. I'm going to just put up the direct contact numbers for my program leaders. For the program leaders, they have authorized me to do so. All right, so you should be seeing it on the screen now. You can reach out to them if you have more questions. All right. Thanks everyone for coming. Any other comments? Concerns? If not, I want to thank the Student Union for facilitating us as well. And thanks to Miss Diamond Grandison, who is a second year rep. All right. She had to step away, I think, for an exam. All right, so they are the contact, right? We can post them in the chat as well. All right, thanks again for coming, everyone. And Miss Burrell, is Miss Burrell there? Ms. Burrell, Batik?
Yes, I was talking without my mic.
Oh, right. A student was asking what happened if they are not so good at math, but they really want to do computer science. What do you have to say to them?
Well, you have the summer to get familiarized, because majority of the modules that are there are looking at the concepts that are based in mathematical structures. So my best advice, revise everything that you have done before and brush up. I've had persons that are not the best at math, but they're probably good at figuring out certain constructs and find solution for different things. And it's all about logics. So, but we'll always go back to that as our foundation. You'll realize that a lot of our concepts comes back from math. So just brush up for the summer.
All right, thanks, Ms. Burrell. And persons were asking, how do they contact their academic advisor? Or another person says it's blank. That section is blank on their portal. I just posted in the chat okay, all right. And Miss Marsh is helping me. Thank you very much, Miss Marsh. She's working the chat. All right, so Basil Clark is the academic advisement coordinator. He can assist. Miss Marsh also sent the email for our for our admin assistants, Miss Diane Ellis. And there's also a Gmail that you can reach out to us on. It's called BSc in Computing, for those who are in the BSc Computing degree. All right. Okay, Fillmore is saying thanks. All right, are there any other comments? Remember that summer starts May 17th and registration opens Monday coming. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, presenters. Thank you, program directors. Thank you, subject leaders, for taking your time out. I know everybody was busy, but I really appreciate it for coming out and sharing with the students. Thank you to all the viewers who were watching on YouTube right across Jamaica, right? We appreciate you coming, right? Thanks for those who also joined on Zoom, right? We had quite a number of persons. All right, that's where we're going to end it. Thanks for making it UTech. Keep safe, right? And looking forward to seeing all complete your course of study successfully. Take care, everybody, and bye now.